So there's only one other piece to the puzzle. It's what we call the sum but any principle. It's another way of holding how revolutionary Ayn Rand's theory of concepts is, what it does that no other theory did. The basic principle of concept formation states, and this is a quote from her, she says, the basic principle of concept formation states that the omitted measurements must exist in some quantity but may exist in any quantity. Now, why is that important? Well, let's go back to Brand Blanchard. Brand Blanchard says the reason why we can't get beyond the identical postage stamps is one cannot isolate, even conceptually, an invariant character in the things that are called by the same name, like stamp, printed matter, right? One cannot identify even conceptually, an unvarying blueness or an unvarying quantity in 1 in a million. And he's right. He's right, but we don't need to. The whole point is we capture variant characteristics. It's not the invariant we're interested in. We're interested in the varying that varies within a range. We isolate a range of variation. And Ayn Rand gives famously, as the quintessence of her theory, the analogy of algebra. There's no invariant in A when you say 2A equals A plus A, or A squared equals A times A. It's not just, well, is it 6? Can we find 6 invariant in A? No, the whole purpose of the variable is to cover a range of possible values. And that's the whole purpose of concepts, to cover a range of triangles, a range of printed matter, a variation, difference. We want difference. We are not after identical postage stamps. We want to cover differences where those differences are differences in degree of the same underlying attribute. So she says at the end of the chapter where she presents her theory, let those who cannot find the manness in man attack algebra because they cannot find the a-ness in 2 or 2 million. And that is a brilliant summary of the sum but any principle. Just as A or X in a formula stands for some value of a variable, but can be any, so a concept man does not stand for manness. It stands for some degree of rationality in some form of human shape of body, but any of the possible ones, not any wide open. There's only a range of possible degrees of rationality and human shape variation. There's no human being that's round like a basketball. Some are, perilously close to that, but they're working on it. There's no human rationality that is equal to 100 Ayn Rands. There's no human shape that has 12 arms. So there is a range. You can have 2 arms. You can lose an arm. You can have longer arms, shorter arms. You can have rationality in the English language. You can have rationality, I guess, in the French language. Bad example. You can have rationality about stock market investing, rationality about whom to vote for. No, you can't have that today. Rationality about what to eat, about what career to pursue. You can have a wide variation, but they're all variations of subject matter and of effort and of degree of interest and so forth within the same varying range of measurements along a conceptual common denominator. What's in the other end of the conceptual common denominator? Pre-rational, sensory, sensory experience is contrasted to conceptual, rational functioning. So just seeing, or what your cat does, is not is that see, where, Ayn Rand and Homer Simpson are the extremes of the range within the human. What it's contrasted to is something humans also have, which is just seeing, smelling, tasting, right? So there is a foil, there is a range, and there's variation within the range. Very important that I'm not going to talk about today is the word. Although Wittgenstein says there's only the word, we hold that the word is a critical part of the process once you grasp variation within a range. The word retains it, makes it into a concept. If you don't have the word, you only have a fleeting impression. The word solidifies it, crystallizes it, makes it usable. So we don't want to underrate words, and I will be stressing that theme in the next lecture, but let's stop now.